Hey, hi, good evening, everyone. Good evening, friends. Yep. Welcome back to our 20 days, sessions on Power BI. So we have successfully completed 11 days of this program, and today we are going to, learn few more topics with respect to the ongoing topic that is data visualization. Right. So we'll quickly recap what we have understood in the last session. Right. So in the last session, we started data visualization, right? The one that you're seeing here. So this particular chart is called as table chart. It's called as table chart, and we have thoroughly understood what is a table chart, right? So we started Power BI. We understood all the components. Power BI is a business intelligence tool, and what is the main purpose of learning Power BI is to create the wonderful reports or wonderful dashboards, beautiful dashboards. We use any one of the business intelligence tool, and Power BI is leading the market. Yes, everyone is aware of these things. So this, when we started Power BI, we understood all the six components: Power BI, Power Query Editor, then Power Pivot, Power View, Power Map, Power BI Q&A, as well as Power BI Service. So we completed Power Query Editor. Power Pivot was also completed. So the next one, Power View, is going on. So within this particular topic, data visualization, we'll understand three components. One is Power View, nothing but the visualizations. The second one is Power Map. You see here there are three different map visuals. So we can also visualize geospatial data. We have data related to latitudes, longitudes, or any country. Okay, so such kind of data can also be visualized. It's nothing but Power Map. And finally, Power BI Q&A. So probably we are going to look into this visual today if time permits. Then the only component that will be left over is Power BI service. So that will be discussed in the last of this program. Right. So this data visualization topic we have started in the last session, and we also understood one specific chart, which is table chart. Okay, so this is table chart. What is the purpose of a table chart? Table chart helps us to visualize the data in a clear or in a detailed manner. Okay, so in a detailed manner, I can visualize my data. You see, so upon your requirement, you adjust. Okay, so again, you make sure that all your tiles, your reports should be built in a beautiful way. Okay, color combinations, these color palettes play a crucial role, friends. So when you start learning Power BI, make sure that you get also some knowledge with respect to colors, because at the end of the day these reports should be beautiful, because you are going to share this to the client, and when you share to this client, you are supposed to explain them, right? So we have understood what is canvas, then we can how we can format the settings of canvas. Okay, even the wallpaper that we have for this reports, we can format the wallpaper as well. Okay, then the formatting options for the table chart. Okay, so for the values, for the headers, for the totals. Okay, then for only one specific column, you can also represent the data that is present in one specific column with some cell elements. So all these things we have understood, okay, with respect to table chart. So friends, in case if you have missed the particular session on table chat, I request every one of you to go and have a look, just complete on that session, and then start listening to these sessions. The main reason is majority of these formatting options between different visuals will be same. Across these different visuals, the formatting options will be same. So when you skip any one of these sessions, probably you may not catch up, friends. So for that reason, I'm asking you to go and have a look, or go and just complete up the previous session, that is table chat, the session that we have completed on table chat, the first one, right? So I do one thing. Let me reduce this in size. Probably, yep. So this is my table chat. Okay. So when I can scroll down, then to the right, to the left as well. Okay. Right. Now, in today's session, we are going to learn uh, one more similar kind of chat, but it's not exactly similar. A part of it will be similar. Okay, so it is related to table chat, but it's not completely all the features that we get in the table chat can be achieved. But additionally, we have few more advantages of using this chat, and it is nothing but matrix chat. What is this matrix chat? How many of you are aware of matrices? Friends, how many of you are aware of matrices? Matrices, there is a separate topic in mathematics, where we create matrices, which are the values are enclosed in square braces. Okay, so when you have the elements within the square braces, we are supposed to, we can add them, we can multiply, right? We can do all such kind of activities. Yes. So matrix is simple, but it's nothing but a row column combination that values the elements of a matrix. They will be yep. So kind of arrays, yes, but not exactly array. Array is, array can be any dimensional, but matrix is, yep, similar to array. I don't say it as exactly array. The operations will be different, right? Right. So matrix is nothing but again combination of rows and columns. You see, in the same row next to table chart, we have matrix chart. We have matrix chart. Then what makes the difference between table chart and matrix chart? Because in table chart also I'm able to have rows and columns. In matrix chart also I'm going to have the both, right? Then what makes the difference is, if you are aware of pivot tables in Excel. In Excel, there is a topic called pivot tables. Okay, so this matrix chart are similar to pivot tables. What exactly is again a pivot table? In the sense, it allows us to have hierarchies in the data. Okay, we can go with drill down options, friends. Okay, within one single record, I can have another record. Within one specific column, I can have one more column, or I can have multiple columns. I will just put some more light. I'm not unable to get. I'm not unable to imagine what exactly you're trying to say. Okay, let me take an example. I'm running a business. Okay, so in the same way, I have the data, and I'm taking all the product names in the row level. Okay, exactly similar to this. Then within this, within the column, uh, probably let me take, yes, let me take region. So four regions, yes, north, south, east, west. Again, it is similar to table chart, right? Then how does a matrix chart be like? So within south region, I want total quantity that was sold within for a product as well as what is the profit that we have achieved for a product. Is it possible? Yes. You can have, you know, from south region or from north region, what is the quantity that product A, what are the sales for product A, as well as what is the profit that we have achieved from product A. Then the same for under north region, east, west. So it's actually representing, pivot tables in Excel. Actually, I don't have any knowledge on pivot tables. It's better if we go and create one matrix chart that would actually help us, to imagine or to understand more. Yes, we'll do it, friends. And moreover, in table chart, you cannot have any kind of hierarchies, the levels one after the other. But in matrix chart, it allows us to have hierarchies, nothing but the drill down options. We can have the drill down options or drill up options in matrix chart. Okay, and it allows us to keep, or it allows us to have all the aggregations. So focus, let us create a matrix chart, but before that, let me rename it table and matrix visuals. Yes. So what is the process, friends? How should or what is the process to load any chart into report, into a page? What is the process? How should I load a particular visual from visualizations pane to the report? It's very simple. Whatever is your required or whatever is your visual that you're going to work, go and just click on it. Just click on it so that you'll have it added under, in your report, in your sheet. And using mouse, left click on it and you can adjust the particular, you know visual. Just give me a minute, I'll keep it at the top, and this one I'll, yeah. Right. So I just, I have reduced it in size. That's it. Nothing else apart from. Okay. So I have added matrix chart. Okay. Now I'll start working on the data. Tell me what all things shall we take? But you see, the options, are they seen? If I go to table chart, friends, this is what I am asking you to focus. See, let me take a table chart. Okay, probably yes. So I have selected table chart. You see what are the options that I have got under the visualizations pane for table chart? Only one, that is columns. So I can just bring the fields under this columns only. Only under this columns option, I can drag the field and drop it here. But if you observe matrix chart, do you have only columns? No. You can select your rows, you can select your columns, and you can also select your values. Okay. So it is providing us multiple options, and across these multiple options, you can add multiple fields. Right. For that, what I'm doing is I'll probably, you know, do one thing. Categories. So if you take the entire data, there are 4 different categories, friends. Okay. The entire products are organized into 4 categories. One is clothing, electronics, third one is furniture, and the fourth one is grocery. Okay, so let me also add the products that are being part of these categories. But what happened? You see, the moment that yes, when you selected, it got added to columns. But I don't want to have it under the columns. I'll drag it and I'll bring it under rows. So within rows, the first one will be category. Then next one is product name. So under clothing, what are the different products that I have? So this is the list of products. Okay. Then you see here plus icon. So this is for expanding, collapsing, electronics, expanding, collapsing. In the same way, friends, right? So in this way, we can have multiple values or multiple fields added under rows itself. And even if you observe, as I have discussed in the previous class, filtering, focus mode, and ellipse will be common across all the visuals. But if you see, I have, drill down, drill up options. These four are for drilling, friends. We'll talk about this, right? So let me also add some fields under columns. So category and product name I have added under category, I mean rows, right? So probably under the stores, locations can we bring under columns? Yes, in total four locations: Chicago, Houston, New York, and San Francisco. Then even the store names, yes. But you see, by default it's going under the rows. So let me bring this and add it to columns. Add it to columns. So what happened? Do you see that plus icon? No. But how can I drill to the next level? Using the drill options. Okay, we'll discuss. So in the rows level, I have took category and the products, and in the column level, I have took location and the store name, because under each and every location we'll have multiple stores. Then what shall we take for the values? Let us also fix the values, friends. Probably what shall we take? The total amount. What will be the total amount? Yes, so this is the total amount, and by default it is going for some aggregation. So you can change what kind of operation you want to do. You can change it accordingly. So for me, in my case, I'm satisfied with the sum. Okay, sum of these values is making sense, so I'll go with sum. And I want to probably just rename it. I don't want it as sum of total amount. I'll keep it as total amount only. That's it. Okay, so I also see the values now. Are we done? No, you can still add any number of fields under these, options. But now let us talk about these options that we have did not discuss in table chat. Okay, the first option is drill on. Would you like to drill on rows or columns? What is your interest? So assume that you want to drill on rows. Let us go with rows. Okay, so it means it drills only on rows level, friends. Okay, so only for these values for rows, whatever the fields that we have passed, only the drilling will be done only on those rows. Okay, now you see there are four options. The first arrow mark is pointing towards the top, and the next arrow mark is pointing towards down, followed by two arrow marks pointing down, and the third one is representing a hierarchy. I mean the fourth one. Again, the arrow marks are pointing down. What are these exactly? We'll talk about these, friends. The first one is drill up. The first one is drill up. And if you see, even the option, even if you see the option, it is disabled. It's not active, it's disabled. So that means I cannot work on drill up option as we are at the starting, stage. So we have reached the maximum. So that is the reason it is not allowing us to drill up more. Then let us go to the next option. Click to turn on drill down. So if you want to work on this option, you have to click on this option. Okay, I have clicked on it. The moment that after clicking on this option, what happened? The background color, if you see, the background color of this arrow mark pointing downside, it is black and it is on. The drill mode is on and it says click a data point to drill. So you can select any one of the data point to drill. For example, let me go with grocery. Let me go with only, I have clicked on only one data point, friends. What happened? It gave me all the products, and it is also showing me what is the total profit that we have got from different locations. Okay, and I see in some cases, in some of these cases, there is no sales, there is no profit generated. Why is the question mark? Okay, so we have to address all these questions. All these questions should be made a note, and we'll share with this client, right? So this is actually helping us to drill down only for one level when you select only on one point. So whatever is your interest, you can select any one point and it drills down to the next level. What is the next level? Under columns, after location, it is store name. Sorry, I'm working on rows, right? So under category, next to category, the next level is product name. So we are exactly at the product name. And can I go still more? No, it's not working. If it actually, if I have something else down to product name, it allows us to still go down. I can go down till beyond it, right? So again, I'll go back. So only if you want to work on this drill mode, drill down option, you make sure that you first make it active. How can I make it active? By clicking on it. When I click on it, the drill mode will on and it allows us to click on any of the data point to drill to the next level, right? So I'm making it off. So I cannot, work on any of these options no more. I mean, no, if I want to study only for one. Anyhow, there is plus icon for rows, so I can go and click on them. But how are these plus icons you are able to see is because of formatting options for this matrix chart. Okay, so if these options are off, still you cannot go and work on the next level. You cannot drill down to the next level. Okay, so by default this option is on. You can make it off. We'll discuss them in the formatting options. Then the next level is, the next option that we have is go to the next level in the hierarchy. That is what we have done, right? But here it's actually focusing on one data point. What if you want to go to the next level of the hierarchy for all the points? Okay, let me give a try. So what is that option? The the symbol is two arrow marks pointing downwards. So just hover your mouse on the icon, you'll get the pop-up prints. Okay, so the moment you click on it, you see what happened. What happened is, you know, within rows, since you are drilling on rows, the next level in the hierarchy is after category, it is product name. So it should be, give all the products and their what is the amount that we have got from different locations. And I see some products are contributing zero. Why? So this is a question, or this is an insight that we get from this particular chart, and we can share it to the client. What exactly is stopping 4K TV, sales in Chicago, San Francisco? Why? Not even a single product got sold. Why? Are the customers expecting more or a different one? So such kind of questions will be generated, friends. When you actually share these insights to the client, clients start taking appropriate actions. Or are the customers feeling this 4K TV budget as too high? Why not let us go and give some offers to them? Provide, say, EMIs. So let us do some extra things so that we can increase our revenue. At the end of the day, even for anyone, for any organization, the revenue plays a crucial role in order to expand their business, or in order to even come up with new products, or in order to enhance their properties, okay, of the store or whatever it might be. Revenue contributes more to the organization. Just based on the revenue, they take their actions. So how can I, or what is the ways of increasing this revenue is, when you get these insights, you share the insights to the client, and the client takes the right decisions. Right. So let us not stop over here, but can I go to the next level? You see, it is telling me at the lowest level of data. You are at the lowest level of data. Do I have anything else next to product name? No. So that is the reason this option was disabled. Then how can I go back? The first one, you can drill up. When you click on drill up, you can see your original data. So it goes up to the one level. I hope you are getting the point. For going up, this is, you are supposed to use drill up option. For going down, we are supposed to go with drill down options. Understood? Then what is the next one? The next one is also, it is also going to drill down only, right? But what makes the difference between third option and fourth option? Third option, when you click on third option, it goes to the next level in the hierarchy, where it does not show you, or where it does not display the parent level. See, I'll click on it. Can you tell me, is 4K TV part of which category? Is it part of electronics, clothing, grocery, or what? I don't know the information. I don't have the information by looking at this chart, right? So this particular option, it just goes to the next level in the hierarchy without displaying the parent level. Then the fourth icon that you have in these drill down options help us to also give the information. It displays the information regarding parent level. It also helps us to give the information regarding the parent level. See, under the clothing, I have these products. Under electronics, I have these products. Furniture, grocery. Anyhow, the data set that we have is, there are some mistakes. Ignore them. Try to understand the concept that we are trying to, cover. That is more important instead of focusing on the data and all. Okay, so you observe properly. The difference between third one and fourth one is actually talking about the third icon will not show you the parent level. Is it showing whether the product and their parent level? No, it is not showing the product with their category. But the fourth one will allow us to do that. It displays the parent level along with the child one. Parent, child. Again, you can get multiple, insights. Clothing, very less sales in Chicago compared to the rest of the locations. Why? Why? What kind of audience do you have? What kind of customers do we have in Chicago? What are they expecting from us? where the sales actually down. So all these strategies, they'll try to dig in, friends. Each and every point they'll go to the root level and they'll come up with some bundle offers. Okay, so don't assume that whenever you see some products in advertisements, not only in advertisements, even these e-commerce sites, don't assume that they are full. Why will they offer us a product for very less amount? There might be a story behind it. Okay, so this is what called as business intelligence. You know, when you are running an organization, that's what I was talking earlier. When you get such kind of insights, you are being one of the senior most person in the organization. I mean, I'm talking with respect to the client. Okay, so they'll start taking right decisions at the right time. So ultimately, they'll get huge profits. But who is actually supporting them? You know, one of the business intelligence tool. It might be Power BI, Tableau, or whatever it might be. Just if you have the data recorded and using this data, they'll try to visualize, and when they visualize, they'll get more insights. Okay, by understanding these insights, they'll take right decisions, and these right decisions ultimately will affect their revenue. They'll see huge lumps of amount will be gathered. Right. So all these four options, I think it's clear. So I'll go back. I'm drilling up. So since I did not add multiple, fields, you can keep on adding. And how many columns does it support? Till if you don't see any kind of white space, okay, here. So it means that particular option got occupied. But you'll not see that, you'll see continuously that white space. It means you can keep on adding fields. You can go to the any levels of hierarchy, but it should make sense. See, under category I have products, it's making sense, but I cannot bring customer ID next to it, right? What is the reason? I mean, what is, in which way it's going to make some sense? Nothing. It's waste of bringing customer ID next to product name. What is the use? Right? Then you feel the complete matrix chart sparse, empty. Let us not do such kind of foolish things. So when you're actually, trying to visualize your data, make sure what data, what field should be brought to the next level in the hierarchy. Right? Yes. So this is what we have observed with respect to rows. I can also do the same thing on columns. You see? So what do we have? After location, it is store name. These are the different store name. But question is, this downtown depot is one of the store name. Is part of which location? Is it part of Chicago, San Francisco? Then what? So if you want to get the information, what is the right option? It is expand all down one level in the hierarchy, which shows the parent level. Now this will make sense. So Chicago, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 stores under Chicago. Okay, so these are the 5 different names. Then Houston, the store names are same, but you see, depending on the location, the values are being changed. That's it. And at the end of the each and every column, you are able to see total, subtotal. These are called as subtotals, friends. Right? So this is the total for rows, for columns. Okay, so you see, it is allowing us to have totals and subtotals. But who allowed to have these totals and subtotals? Did we give any kind of permission? No. But how are we able to see the information of totals and subtotals? Column level, for column, I mean Chicago, this is the subtotal. You know, for Houston, then New York, San Francisco. For row level also we have for entire clothing. This is the total amount that was collected across 4 different locations. For electronics and under electronics category, this is the amount that we have collected. Overall, if you see the total amount, it's $25,711 across all locations. Under all categories. So each and every category are getting the information, each and every location you are getting the information. But who actually helped us to give this information is the formatting options that are present for this visual, friends. Okay, now let us go and discuss the formatting options the same way. How should we go and format the visual? Is when you select that particular visual, under the visualizations pane, you will have an option called format your visual. The next option to add data to your visual, you'll have the next option. So these are the list of formatting options that we have for matrix chart. Friends, we are talking only about matrix chart, not about other charts. Don't assume that all of these charts will have all the formatting options as same, but majority of them will be same. I don't say all of them will be same. Majority of these options will be same, right? Yes. So you remember for table chart, we have style presets in the same way. None, then minimal, flashy rows, bold headers. I hope you remember alternating rows, contrast. So all of these are also available under table chart. Bold headers, flashy rows. So your wish, which option you would like to go with, it's up to you. So I'll not, make it very clumsy. So I'll go with the default one. So I'm clicking on reset to default. Then next to layout and style prefix, we have grid. So the grid lines. Okay, horizontal. Do you would like to have? Yes. What is the color? Probably blue. Yes. Now I'm able to see. And increase the width. In the same way, vertical. Make it on. Make it blue so that it looks good. Yes. Same color for both rows and columns. Yes. Width, I'll give it as 1. Even would you like to have it for border? Yes, for all the sections, top, right, all, bottom, left, right. Color blue. So my matrix chart is ready. Even if I drill down, for all the options I'll get. Let me give it on rows. You see, this is my matrix chart. For each and every location, under each and every, uh, store name, what is the amount that we have collected for each and every product? Is it like a pivot table? Yes. So this particular chart helps us to get the complete data. Okay. So in Excel, probably if you are aware of pivot tables concept, you'll understand more with respect to this matrix chart, friends. Okay. Right. I just went back a bit. I'll drill up. Huh? Because if I make it big, probably we can't understand well. So when you are actually showcasing your output to the client, then you can probably expand and collapse. You can drill on. Okay. Then would you like to have any blank rows? So blank alternating rows can be added for clear understanding between each and every category, one to the next. So when you're actually making it expanding, when you expand, you'll get confused whether all these products get clubbed. So what happens is you may not be that much clear. So would you like to add any blank rows between each and every category? Yes, you can also do it, friends. Okay, for the values, the same formatting options, nothing new. You know, the same formatting options that we have discussed. Same for the table chart we have discussed, right? The font size, font, bold, italic, underline, the text color. You can change the text color, the background color. Okay, in the same way, alternate text color. Okay, so then alternate background color. If you see the alternate background colors are changed. Here it's white. Here it's a kind of probably gray. I assume it as gray. Uh, Then I can also have text wrap. I can also wrap the text. The same one. Then for column headers, again the same options. Yes, whatever we have discussed. Yes, again the same options. If you would like to me do, yes, I'll do it. But instead of discussing the same again and again, you'll feel bored. So I'll not generally discuss the same options again and again. Then the background color for your column headers, header alignment, would you like to align it toward the left, right, or the center? Then the title alignment. Okay, so this is actually representing your title. Then would you like to wrap your text? So when you have big text, a big column header, it gets wrapped, right? So the same formatting options we also have for column headers. Then row headers. So this is a new point or a new formatting option that we have for format matrix chart, because we'll not have row headers. There are no headers under table chart for rows, but for column we'll have the same option that we have in column headers will be available under row headers also. Font, style, background color and all, and the alignment. Done. Then you see here, I told you, right? The plus minus icons by default, how you are getting, I showed you, right? So because of this option being enabled, if it is disabled, you will not find that option. Okay, this if you have disabled here, you'll not find that option. By default, it will be on. Okay, if you're not interested to have it, if you don't or if you feel like it's not that much good, just make it off. Because anyhow, I have the drill down options. The drill down options I have. So if you feel that you are not interested, just ignore them. Then next to row headers, we have column subtotals, row subtotals. So previous, when we are discussing how are we getting these subtotals, right? So this is because of the options. So you can also have per column level, okay, subtotal label also. You can change it. So probably I'll keep it as, you see, but the moment I'm changing, how it is changing over here. Okay, concentrate. I'll give it as subtotal. See, for columns I have changed, immediately it affected. So these are the subtotals, right? In the same way, I can also do it for the row subtotals. See, so these are the subtotals, and by default, this option will be on, friends. Since this option is on, you're able to see the values. And if you keep it off, you'll not find the values no more. Right? So let me close off them. Grand total. Would you like to have the grand total or not? Again, the formatting options. By default, it is bold. And if you're not interested, you can make it unbold. I have removed the bold. Okay, then you can change the text color, you can change the background color. The formatting options are same, just changing these, making these values to look beautiful. We are adding some kind of formatting options on it. That's it. Next to grand column grand total, we have row grand total. Okay, so again the same options. Is there any difference? No, nothing different, right? So this is also similar. Then specifically, if you would like to work on any one column, so this particular option we discussed in table chart also. Okay, so specific column, would you like to work on any one column? What is that column? Let me give it as total amount. Okay, so this one, apply to header, yes. Apply to total, yes. Apply to values. The text color, let me give it as blue. So since I have took total amount is nothing but this entire friends. For the values, I took total amount, right? Yes. Okay. So if you don't want to apply for the values, only for the headers, only for the total, only for the subtotal. See, subtotals, headers, and all. You can also change your background color, probably some kind of light blue, not sure. Okay, whatever it might be. Then display units, how would you like to display it? Thousands, millions? Anyhow, the values are very small, so probably this is making sense. Then if you're not satisfied, go and click on reset to default. Reset to default. And finally, the cell elements. The cell elements is a similar option that we have discussed. You remember? So one specific cell can be addressed, but here for the entire column, I mean, wherever we have this total amount values, for all these values, would you like to change background color or font color, data bars, icons? So this will actually, affect all the values present in this matrix chart. I'll just show you, see. Okay, so depending upon the value, it is changing. The background color is getting changed. Higher value, darker the color. Lower the value, you see, very light the color. The same concept. Okay, only for depending on the value, cell elements, nothing but the values, elements, values, all of them are same friends. Okay, so cell elements or values again being same, you know, depending upon the value, the color gets changed, the background color. Then font color, same, it is changing the font. You can represent with data bars, and as I have discussed earlier, you can also, if it is something confidential, you can just click on show bar only, so that it makes sure that the values will not be appeared. You can change the colors for the positive bar and the negative bar. Okay, even you can customize your value. What should be the lowest value, what should be the highest value, the bar direction. Okay, by default it is left to right. If you are not interested to have the bars from left to right, you can change it to right to left. Okay, so let me select okay. You see, so I can clearly understand that San Francisco, from San Francisco, and under furniture category, the sales are, the total amount that we have got is more, and under the New York location, uh, with respect to grocery category, the sale, I mean, the amount that we're getting is very poor. How? Just because of the data bars, and I can make it off. The icons, so all these are same as table chart, but what exactly have changed is the subtotals that you are able to see, these subtotals. And we also have the formatting options for row headers, because row headers are not possible in a table chart. In table chart, you cannot have row headers, right? So this is what a matrix chart helps us to visualize the data. In short, matrix chart is referred as pivot tables. So people who are aware of pivot tables, they'll grab more content from what we have discussed so far. Because if you don't have any picture of pivot table, but still you can try to understand. Right. So matrix chart is very clear, right? So now let me also talk about the same options, friends. Nothing else. Export data. So you can export the data to a CSV file. As a table, you can show the table, the data. You can remove it if you're not satisfied. Okay. The removing is nothing but you are removing this complete tile. This tile will be removed from your page. Okay. Don't assume that any values or the columns are you are going to remove. Okay, remove means you are removing this complete tile from your page. Then you can highlight using the spotlight and you can sort the data using any one of the column, either ascending or descending. Same, the options are same. Then next to ellipse we have focus mode and filter. You can also filter the data based on your requirement. Now let me talk about the next widely used or very important chart of Power BI. It's Power BI Q&A, question and answer. So earlier from day one, I am talking about the components of Power BI. Under all components of Power BI, we have one of the component. It is Power BI Q&A. Power BI question and answer. What is this question and answer? Question and answer is nothing but when you ask a question to this chart, it results us in a visual, isn't it? Yes, yes, friends. Okay, so where is this Power BI Q&A under this visualization page? You see 3 and 6. Sixth row, fourth column. This is Power BI Q&A. Okay, so how can I use it? Click on it. See, I just clicked on the chart. Immediately, it has, you know, given me some questions. Here, you are supposed to ask a question in this bar, in this rectangular bar. You are supposed to ask a question regarding your data. Okay. So once if you ask the question, it gives you the answer in form of visual. And down to it, it is also giving some kind of suggestions, friends. So before we ask, let us give a try. I'll go and select on number of locations. We know that how many locations we have? 4. Let us check whether this Power BI Q&A is doing it in the right way or not. So I'm just clicking on number of locations, friend. So this is my question to Power BI Q&A. You see what is the output from the chart? It's 4. Count of location, and the answer is 4. Oh, really? Is it 4? Yes, it's 4. Once if you have achieved your requirement using Power BI Q&A chart, okay, immediately you see next to it, there is an icon. Turn this Q&A result into a standard visual. You click on it, so this becomes a visual. What kind of visual it is, friends? It is a card visual. Akhil, you mean card visuals that we have used in DAX? Yes. Friends, this is a measure. It's a measure. But did I use DAX? No. Did I come up with any formula, DAX formula? No. But how did I achieve my requirement? Using Power BI Q&A. So what happens is it identifies first of all, it gives you your requirement based on the text, based on your question. It gives you the visual, okay, and towards this particular visual, towards your output, whatever the chart is, the right chart, it goes and use that chart. So since it's a measure, it uses card visual. So if you're satisfied, you can go ahead. If not, you can change. You can change. New visual calculation again. So going behind it. So what will be the formatting options for Q&A? For Q&A, there is no formatting options, friends, because as it is changing the chart type, you'll get by default the chart based on the chart that we get for the output. The formatting options change. We are aware of the card visual formatting options: call out value, category label. This is what we are aware of. If you don't want to have it, but it's not making sense, right? So this is something we have understood. Good, but again, I'll go and use Q&A this time. Let me go with you know probably I'll ask you some suggestions. I'll ask suggestions from Power BI itself. Let me get all the suggestions. Minimal total amount, average total amount, what is the most recent date, total quantity by category. So there are four categories, and what I'm supposed to get total quantity by category. By taking different categories, what is the total quantity that has been sold? This is actually making sense. I'll go with it. Wow. Four categories and the quantity. From each and every quantity, from each and every category, what is the amount of quantity that was sold? If you got your required output, click on, you know, the specific icon. It turns as a standard visual. And what kind of chart it is? It is a clustered bar chart. What is this clustered bar chart, column chart? We'll discuss tomorrow. So this is not yet discussed. Tomorrow we are going to start these first row options, friends. The charts that we have in the first row: bar chart, column chart, clustered bar chart, clustered column chart, stacked bar chart, stacked column chart. All of them, there are only a small differences between these six charts. But if you understand the point, if you grab the cut right point, you are done. Okay, so we'll discuss more about these charts probably in the coming sessions. But I hope you got the point how we are using this Q&A. Okay, so when you use this Q&A, even not only you need not take the suggestions from Q&A. You can also give your question. You can ask your question. So as a as a try, can anyone give me one of the questions so that I type over here? But it should make sense, right? One of you ask a question to Power BI Q&A friends. So use chat and give your valid question. Overall average sales. Okay. Overall average. But do I have sales column first of all? See, that's what. When you are using something, you make sure that you have it in your data. If you don't have it, it does not display the result. The visual will not be displayed. So probably average total amount. Subtotal of electronics. What is this subtotal? I did not get you, friend. What is this subtotal? Make sure your question is valid. Okay. Overall average. Okay, I don't have it. I have to type it then. Total amount. Yes. Got it, friend. It's $257.11. So this is the average total amount. See. That's what. See, this is different. Don't assume the subtotal that you got here. Ah, how can you frame a question? What is this representing? 6390 is representing, you know, the total amount from entire clothing category. That should be your question. Don't keep it as subtotal of clothing. What does it mean? How does Power BI Q&A understand it? Anyhow, matrix visual is giving you subtotals. That doesn't mean Power BI should understand what is the subtotal. Okay, that's not at all the question is not at all right, friend. You should make it clear. Okay, in the sense, give me um, what is this? The total amount from clothing category. Let us try this. Total amount from clothing. Is it clothing? Yes, clothing category. Got it? 6390 matching. So that's what, friend. When you're trying to keep your question, make sure you keep it clear. If you use it as subtotal of clothing category, it does not return you anything. The reason is it does not understand. First of all, what is the subtotal? You get a kind of warning message. A message will be displayed, and you know. So that's what. So friends, make sure your question should be asked in a right way. Right. So this is an advantage of Power BI Q&A. We ask a question, it displays, it results us in a chart, in a picture, in a graph. Every time, why it is using only card visual actually? Who told it is using card visual? Did I? No. Depending on the output. If you remember, way back, 5 minutes back, we have discussed, clustered bar chart example. Using Power BI Q&A, I got clustered bar chart. So that's what. Depending on the output, it uses the right visual. It uses the right visual. Since it is a measure, it is using card visual. Okay, we'll try to understand more in the coming sessions. So today we have understood more about matrix chart as well as Q&A. Q&A is very simple. Nothing. You are supposed to load that particular visual and ask a question. Done. If your question is kept very clear, Power BI Q&A immediately understands it and gives the output in a visual, the form of visual. Right. So I'll stop it here and we'll take our discussion ahead tomorrow. Try out all different questions that you have by using this Power BI Q&A. Load the data set. Once if you have the data imported, you can start working on n number of questions. Right? Yes. So any technical questions? So friends, the feedback link has been shared in the chat. Okay, so please give a valuable feedback before you leave. So we are using a sample of Superstore. Okay, that's why we have such questions. Okay, okay, that's okay. If you, in your case, if you have different columns, you can, yes, go with those. The fields that you have respect to your data set. Okay, so friends, make sure that you do hands-on because Power BI is completely a hands-on tool. Yesterday, when I was just as a point, I'm going to discuss this. When I was talking to my friend, uh, you know, what information that I came to know is there is a lot of demand for Power BI, especially in European countries as of now. Okay, so if you are looking out for any jobs, okay, abroad, so try exploring multiple roles with respect to Power BI in European countries, probably in Ireland. Okay, so we have lot of openings and there is lot of demand for this Power BI outside India. Not only in India, outside India also it is ruling the market, friends. So, just not listening to these lectures, these sessions, I want you guys to practice by taking any of the data sets. Okay, take any data set, import it, start working on it. When you learn something, when you get good exposure to all these different options, because if you observe, there is no kind of code that we are writing. Did we come up with any code? Are we learning any programming language? No. Power BI is very simple. But the thing is, creating that beautiful reports, amazing dashboards is a bit challenge. But still, as we gain enough experience, we can do it. Okay. So there is no rocket science in Power BI, as per my knowledge. Not only, even if you go and do some kind of research, it's very easy tool that everyone can learn it. Right. So thanks for your time, and it was great to have all of you. So we have, well, many of you have interacted with me. You know, the only thing that I always tell to my students is practice. Okay, so friends, make sure that you do a lot of hands-on and get enough knowledge, get enough skill on Power BI. Right. So that's all for the day. And if you feel this session is wonderful, just give a like and also share across multiple channels that you have. And yeah, that's all for the day. Probably, yep, we'll meet in the next session. Until then, take care, friends. Right. Bye. Signing off.